did one where all the font was the same and then one where my name was a little bigger, so I think I'm going with that one. So we got the full grade sheet.
And welcome back to week 3 of my postmortem of fashion school.
Then I need the seams from last week. So we have the 1/2 inch seam,
This week I'm going through and organizing my notebook to get ready for classes.
the 1/4 inch seam, the French seam, the flat felled seam, the shirred seam, and the ease seam.
This is for my ready to wear class.
We have our darts grade sheet. This is the one where I did contrasting thread. So this one is skirt darts, double pointed fisheye darts, dart tucks, and a cutaway dart. Oh, and then this was an extra credit project, but it was the bodice darts. Specifically for the project. One invisible, 2 7-inch, and then the smallest separating that you can find.
Then, like every week, I go through and make sure that I get all of my pieces cut out so I can be ready for the day's work when I get to school, especially on Mondays, because Mondays are the day that I have ready to wear, so I have to make sure that everything is ready for class before I go in.
So I found some interfacing. It is Talon Shapeless. Where are regular scissors? These are my paper scissors.
I made sure that on Monday I cut out both of my patterns for the zippers project and the pockets patterns, because last week I didn't have anything else cut out and I was done before the end of class on Wednesday, and I really just didn't want to be sitting there for 20 minutes at the end of the class again. I wanted to be able to work on the next project if I had that chance. So now it's Monday. We're in downtown. We're gonna go figure out where we're parking for today, and then we're gonna head in for classes. So I have about 45 minutes, including parking, so crossing our fingers it doesn't take the whole 45 minutes for us to get to class. So we'll see how this goes. I am totally willing to bet that they changed this billboard within the time of me being away for the weekend, because I'm not in class on the weekends. But I was super excited to see this Prada billboard on the way to school this morning, because it's really like signifying to me that fashion is in our everyday lives and marketing, and now I get to be a part of that, and that was just a really cool thing to see on a Monday morning, because Mondays are sometimes hard to just get out of bed and go and do stuff.
So I got here 30 minutes early. We'll see if I'm able to start working on things or if class is open.
So this is my sewing station. I totally randomly got to school late the first day of class, much to my chagrin. I hate being late. Oops, there goes the camera. But I ended up in this little corner spot that's next to the iron, and it's kind of fun because I get to see everybody. And I'm also right next to the iron, so everybody ends up passing next to me when we're going through and getting stuff ready for classes. But I just kind of wanted to show you what my day-to-day unpacking is when I get to class. It was open, so I was super excited that I got to go in like 30 minutes early and just get all my stuff ready. And I got my binder all set up. I'm so excited to be able to turn it in. One of my biggest things carrying over from high school, or I guess trying not to carry over from high school, is that I want to make sure that I'm like actually prepared and ready to go for all my classes. Not that I wasn't in high school, I just feel like it's a different level of preparedness that I want to be. The first thing that I have to do every time I get to class is feed the machine. That doesn't mean give it a hamburger, even though it would be great to be able to, well, see, I feel like if I were to eat a hamburger while I was working on fashion stuff, I would get it all over the machine. Not to mention, like, the clothes and, like, everything else. I don't want ketchup in my seam work. That doesn't sound like fun. Anyways, all jokes aside, I'm just saying that I have to put the thread through the machine so I'm able to actually sew something and throw the bobbin into the bobbin holder down at the bottom of the machine. Then I crank the hand wheel and make sure that all the thread spools through the machine, and then I'm ready to get sewing. So I hate to disappoint you, but if you were looking for some fantastical garment that I'm making today, not gonna happen. Today I'm working on zippers, and out of all the projects that we have worked on so far in class, the seams and just the different types of stitches, gathering, all that kind of stuff that I'm turning in so far for class have not been super difficult, but for whatever reason, it might just be the difference of playing with feet and changing the feet on the machine, but zippers have thrown me for a loop. I think I've spent more time undoing the zippers than I actually have sewing the zippers, which to me is very frustrating, and it's something that I'm definitely going to have to really work on in this class and on this degree, is that even though I have knowledge of this skill going into this course, I will never claim to be an expert, but I don't have all the knowledge, and it's an awesome refresher to be able to go through and learn all these skills again, even if it is extremely frustrating at times. My second class of the day is color theory, which is so much fun. I mean, I don't think I'll complain about any of my classes. I'm having a blast right now just doing all the art stuff, because that wasn't something I really had a huge chance to do before now. I had the ability to do ceramics in high school, which I am super thankful for and was super fun, but I had never taken an actual just painting, drawing, anything class before now, so I'm just really happy to be able to do some sort of art type thing during class and learn how to do it in class. I don't know. To me, it's just one of the coolest things in the world, but I'm honestly just really excited about everything I'm getting a chance to do right now. Happy Tuesday, everybody! So, if you hadn't guessed so far, we are in a little bit of a different setting. Not really. I feel like I really did start every single day this week at the table doing some sort of project, either cutting items out for class or with my Tuesday and Thursday going through and sewing projects. So this week my professor was at a conference up in Canada to study the new dress forms that we are getting, a fleet of dress forms for our just sewing ability. So that meant that I was not going to school, because he is the only teacher that I have on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Not for any reason of not wanting to go to school, it's just we didn't physically have class. I have some assignments that I have to complete and do, but nothing that physically pertains me driving all the way downtown, which is really nice to have a little bit of a break. So I decided to knock a few quilts out in my spare, in big quotes, spare time. Haha. So I feel like I'm now starting every day at this table. Currently getting ready for my, what's it called? The color theory class. Ooh, that's really big. And trying to figure out how I want to do some of this stuff. That's also like So it's currently 12:55 and my class starts at 2, so I do have to stop and get glue sticks at Walmart because I have one glue gun and I have plenty of sticks for it, but I don't have a cord, so it won't turn on. And then I have my other glue gun, which I don't have any glue sticks for. So we're stopping, and it will be super fun to walk into Walmart in a cape. This is probably my favorite Walmart just because of the selection that they have. Ooh, paint. Secured the bag. Now I have like 40 minutes to get to class. So wish me luck because I am really not excited about downtown traffic at this moment. So I made it to school and I definitely have a lot of stuff today. And we'll get the day done. Yay. I think turning on and setting my machine up is just one of my favorite things to do because I get to start the day every day with just a rhythm of setting the machine up, making sure all my thread ends are ready to go, and just setting up my space for me. I totally didn't realize it until right now, but I did not have a foot on my machine, which I don't know if that's supposed to be surprising to me or not, because it really shouldn't be. We all are given 4 feet in our set. I think I introduced them in a previous video, but I'll add some feet pics in later. Maybe next week I'll talk about feet specifically, but it's a flat foot, left zipper foot, right zipper foot, and invisible zipper foot, both of which all 4 of which I got to use this week in my different projects. But now I'm working on pockets, which is also a lot of fun. They are definitely a lot easier for me than the zippers were. The zippers, it's just really a technical skill that, I mean, honestly, I needed to rip them out a few times to perfect them and get them to a point that I don't mind turning them in. But these pockets were mostly just pressing, paying attention to the directions in the videos and pressing them real good. And snipping corners. Snipping corners and curves are definitely a huge skill that I have not done a whole bunch so far, maybe because I was cutting corners on my personal garments, but it's definitely something that I have been like, oh, that is a tool that really makes my garments pop. And even just these little pocket samples, it definitely helps to clip all of the curves. So hey, if you want a tip on your sewing journey, cut the curves and cut the corners. Not in a generic sense of the phrase, but physically snip the corners when you're inside outing a garment. And as I have gotten the chance to end almost every Wednesday of the semester so far, well, I mean, the last 2, it is the project part of my color theory class. And right now we're working on our hues, saturations, and I decided to go with a timber wolf, a pine tree, and a fallen log. Because we had to pick 2 colors. Mine was green and brown, and do 5 lighter going to white and 5 darker going to black. And then we had to do a gray tone where gray was in the middle and you started with white and ended all the way up with black. And that one was definitely a little more challenging just because I didn't have another color variant to kind of add in and work as my middle shade to work off of. I had to make sure that I had a true gray. But I made sure that I focused on my title this time. That was the biggest point that I got last week, or the biggest part that I got points taken off on last week was I just ripped out a piece of notebook paper and wrote a quick title on it to turn in my project. And my teacher was like, yeah, you can do better. So my goal was to both work on all of my art that I was doing to make it a little more impressive, but to specifically work on the title. So I hope you like it because I think it turned out pretty good, if I do say so myself. So the last thing I planned on doing on my day off was going to the mall, but last night I made the very spontaneous decision to go get my passport. So let's see where this journey takes us. So that was a success. I cannot read and actually scheduled the appointment for the 20th, but it worked out. Yay! And now it's the super fun part where I get to finish, not super last minutely, but put the finishing touches on the assignments that I was assigned this week and work on my online class, which is archaeology, assisted of course by my number one motivator, who was also very interested in the fact that I was eating dinner at my workstation and not at the normal kitchen table, so I was within her realms. Join us next week for week 4. And yes, I do actually have to go to class every single day next week, but it's super fun. I'll get to go back to my fashion sketching course and my intro to mass production.